Hey guys, it's Dara, and today I just wanted to share how to make this little shaker card. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm using this stamp set that I got from Hobby Lobby. It doesn't even really have a name on it anywhere, so that's just what it looks like. It's by Momenta if you want to look them up, and there's their website right there. So I'm going to use the large pineapple, the small pineapple, and this little greeting that says enjoy. I've already gone ahead and put them on my clear blocks. I'm using Pear Pizzazz. So I'm just going to ink that up really well. And then I'm using this foam mat that helps with these photopolymer stamps, which is what the clear stamp is called, and it helps get a better impression with them. So I'm just going to stamp firmly down, and ta-da. Then I'm going to take the smaller pineapple and I'm going to ink that up in the Pear Pizzazz also. And then I'll close the Pear Pizzazz and we're finished with it. Then I'm just going to stamp off. Normally I would clean this, but I don't have my wipes here handy, so I'm just going to get as much of the ink off as I can. Then I'll flip that over. I'm using So Saffron. Alright, and then we need the blue color, which is called Pool Party. And we'll stamp the pineapple one more time. And it doesn't matter that I stamped off because we're going to cut this, the circular area, I guess this oval shape out, and then we'll cut the green leaves from the other part. Then we're going to use the Enjoy stamp, also in Pool Party. And we're finished with the foam mat. Now I'm just going to cut each of these individual shapes out. And this is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole project. So the only bad thing about this stamp set is that there aren't any framelits that go with it that'll cut it out for me. So sometimes that's what we have to do, right? We're going to be using the I don't know why I always want to call this Fast Fuse. That is not what we're using. We are using the Fuse tool, and this particular tool that I'm using is by Becky Higgins, but there are a couple of different brands you can get. I think there's one by, I think it's called We Are Memories, something like that. It's really close to that if that's not the exact name. And if you want to get one of these, you can pick them up at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, probably would have it, or even Joann's. But they're about $30, I think, regular price. So you could use your coupon and get it for 40% off. And while I'm cutting these, I went ahead and plugged the Fuse tool in so that it'll be nice and hot when we get ready to seal our card up. Now I'm just kind of cutting loosely around the leaves. I may not be as detailed as I was with my original card, we'll see. One more and we'll be finished with the cutting for a while. Alright, there we are. And then we'll come back to this later. I'm going to move these out of the way now. So just to show you again, for those that are just joining, this is what we're making. Next thing I'm going to do is take this piece of cardstock. It's about 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And this is what I'm going to use to make my size of my card up. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of a page protector for like scrapbooking, and I've cut a section off. This is about like 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to slip the white cardstock inside there and leave a little border around each side. Now actually I think this is a little small of a border, so I'm going to cut my cardstock down a little bit more. So we're going to trim, let's see, we're going to make this, helps to unlock it first. This is going to be 5 3/4, and that's the wrong blade. Let's try the actual cutting blade, not scoring. So we're going to be 5 inches long. This is going to be a little bit smaller of a card. This is more of a note card size. So it's going to be 3 1/2 by 5. And then again, we'll just slip it inside that page protector scrap that I've cut. Now you can use page protectors. You can also buy the fuse material that's similar to make these. And you could probably even use transparencies if you have that. I did try, Stampin' Up! Has clear envelopes, so I've tried that just to see how that would work. And it actually is too light to do. It did work, but it started to melt pretty quickly, so it's pretty difficult to work with it being such a light plastic. Okay, so now I have the fuse tool here. And it has this little wheel looking thing on it that's going to make those little score marks. See, like in the card here, along the edges. And when you buy the fuse tool, you'll get this little ruler thing with it. Basically, we're just going to line the edge of that ruler up with the edge of the cardstock, a little bit further off than that. And then I'm just going to run the tool doesn't want to work. Here we go. Well, for some reason I have a hard time using that ruler. You might want to try to use it, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Alright, and you'll see where I went over my line. That normally won't be a problem since I wanted to try it over again, but that's what it does. Then you'll just continue that again on the next side. And then I'm going to do it on one more side. Okay, so at this point I have 3 sides that I've fused together. And I'm going to leave this one open so that I can stuff it. So at this point you can take out the paper, and then I'm going to trim down the edges a little bit. You do want to leave just a little bit of space so that the seam does not come undone. So maybe about 1/8 inch or so. Okay, so before I fill it, I'm going to go ahead and decorate the front of it. I decided to use this pattern paper that I had some scraps of, and it matches with the pineapple, the Pear Pizzazz color that we used on it. So I'm going to cut an inch strip of that. And 5 inches the other direction. And then I want to trim my Enjoy just a little bit because I didn't get it quite centered on the page. So we're going to do that real quick. And I'm going to make the banner off the edge of it. So I'll cut this down just a little bit. We don't need that long of a piece. And I'm going to use this banner punch to get the shape off of it. And you can see how this is quite a bit smaller than my different sizes. I think this is like 1.5 and 2 and 2.5 are the sizes that these are marked for. But I'm just going to center it in the middle here and then turn it on the other direction to make sure I'm in the center. So like that should be pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and punch it. And that's perfect. Now I'm taking a small piece of Calypso Coral and I'm going to punch it with this scalloped edge punch. Or I guess it's a border punch. So the way I do it is flip it over to make sure I'm getting the edge here. And then I'm going to punch it into my hand, hopefully, because there's lots of little scraps. Got most of it. And then we'll move that along with the guide. Right about there should work. If you're not sure, you can double check, and I can see where there's just a little bit of air where the cardstock is not. So we're good to go there, and we'll punch it one more time. I really like how cute this punch makes the little border, but it is very messy. So let me clear this off real quick. Alright, so we are ready for the next part. I'm using some snail adhesive. And I'm just going to put a little bit across the bottom of this Enjoy so that I can get the scallop border to attach to it. And right about there should be about right. And then I'll just press down and we're good to go. And then this probably won't even show, but I'm going to go ahead and cut that little extra part off. And now we're going to put some glue dots on the back of these to adhere them to our card. So normally you would want to use something that's going to not show up on the clear. If you have a Xyron sticker maker, that would be helpful with this. I'm going to use glue dots, so you will see it, like in the sample here. If you look close, you can see where the adhesive is, but I didn't really have anything else that I could use for this, so I don't care too much about seeing that. I think it's okay. If you were really worried about it and you still wanted to use glue dots, you could always cut an extra of each of these and put it on the inside, and then, you know, nobody would ever know how it was attached. But that's a little more work than I cared to do, so this is how we're going to do it. So basically I'm just putting a couple of glue dots on our Enjoy piece. I'm going to put one on the top of our pineapples. I'll put a couple on the large pineapple just because it's a little bit bigger. And sometimes it helps to rub across it with your nail just to peel it off easier. And then I'm going to put about 3 probably on the pattern paper. Okay, so now I'm just going to center the pattern paper here. I'm putting probably about a 1/4 inch gap at the bottom. And I don't want to stick the adhesive very far over here because I'm going to come back and fuse this at the end. And we don't want to, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You could fuse over this, but I'm not going to. Then we'll attach our Enjoy. I'll play around with this a little bit, so I'm not quite going to press down yet till I make sure this is how I want it on here. Okay, I'm liking that, so I'm going to go ahead and press down. Well, maybe not the pineapple top there. Readjust. I think my Enjoy is a little bit crooked, so we can move it around just a little bit. Alright. And next thing, I'm going to grab some sequins. These are called Iridescent Sequin Assortment. This is from Stampin' Up! If you're interested in the particular brand. And then first I'm going to pick out a few to put on the front of the card. So I like that one. No, maybe the Calypso colored one. And let's see, how about a green one to go on the pineapple like we did on the sample. And let's see how the yellow looks here. That's pretty cute. Okay, so now I'm going to use some more of these glue dots to adhere the sequins. Press down really well because these don't like to come off very easily. Okay. Let me show you a close-up just so you can see that a little better. That one just really does not want to come off. And we got it, so we're good. And normally I usually just work with my fingernails, but if you find that kind of difficult, a pair of small tweezers is helpful with that. And then we're going to place our last Pear Pizzazz sequin just on that blue pineapple. And so the front of our card is all decorated and ready to fill. So the next step, we'll just open that up and start pouring the sequins in. And that looks pretty good. Oops, I did not get the pineapple, the topper, stuck very well, so let's make sure that stays. Okay, I think we're all set now. Alright, so once you get the sequins all filled in like you want, a cute idea for these is to make this like for a birthday or something, or just a surprise gift. You can take a gift card and slide it in. If you want to put a message to the person you're giving it to, you would stick that to the back of your gift card and then just slide it into your little pocket. Like that. I'll shake some sequins around a little more. I think most of them are underneath my gift card, so let's see if I can get that moved around a little better. Okay. That should help some. Alright, we're all set there. I poured a few more sequins out, so I'm just not going to use those. And then we will I'm going to use the ruler guide again, but I'm not going to try to line it inside here. Something about that, it just gets stuck a little. I'm sure it's probably something I'm doing, but anyway. So we'll just lay that across the top of the card. I'm using my fuse tool again, and we're going to seal that last little bit closed. All right. And I forgot to mention earlier, you can't really see it, I don't think, on the screen, but when you use this fuse tool, it will leave a little bit of an indentation, and so you want to be sure that you use some scrap paper or something underneath, and that way it does not ruin your surface that you're using. Alright, so this is our finished card, and you can shake it all around and your sequins aren't going to fall out. And it makes a really cute little gift card surprise that you can send someone. So I hope you decide you want to try this at home. It's pretty simple, I think. It just takes a little bit of getting used to using that guide. And that is what you do. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little tip, and hope to see you back with another video soon.